Your brother needs this more than you. Mom's voice echoed through my lab as she swept her arm across my workstation, sending years of carefully organized research crashing to the floor. My name is Sarah Mitchell, and this was supposed to be the proudest day of my life. At 28, I had just become the youngest recipient of the prestigious Newman Grant for my work in neuroscience. Instead of celebrating, I stood in silent horror, watching my mother systematically destroy my life's work while my father blocked the doorway, ensuring I couldn't interfere. My brother Kevin lounged against the wall, smirking as if this was all some twisted form of justice. He's trying again, Sarah. Mom continued, her designer heels crushing delicate glass slides beneath them. Kevin's ready to go back to school, and this grant could change his life. The irony of her destroying my research while advocating for Kevin's education wasn't lost on me. I glanced at my phone, making sure it was still recording. The security cameras were catching everything too. But I wanted my own copy. Years of dealing with my family's favoritism had taught me to always keep evidence. Mom, I said calmly, the Newman Grant isn't transferable. It's awarded to specific researchers for specific projects. You can't just give it to Kevin. Don't be selfish. Dad finally spoke up, his voice carrying that familiar tone of disappointment he perfected over the years. Your brother has struggled. You've always had everything come easy to you. Easy, right? Because spending 8 years in rigorous research, working holidays and weekends while Kevin partied through 3 failed attempts at college was easy. Because earning this grant through merit and hard work while he expected it to be handed to him was easy. You don't even need this money, Kevin added, examining his nails with feigned disinterest. You already have a job here at the university. I'm the one trying to start over. Mom reached for my main research cabinet and something in me snapped. Touch that cabinet and I'll press charges. The room froze. My mother's hand hung in midair, her eyes widening in shock. In our family, threats were common, but they usually came from them, not me. You wouldn't dare, Dad growled, stepping toward me. We're family. Family doesn't destroy each other's work, I replied, my voice steady despite my racing heart. Family doesn't demand someone give up their achievements, and family certainly doesn't break into a secure lab to commit criminal damage. Break in, Mom scoffed. We used Kevin's old key card. I smiled then, and they must have seen something different in my expression because they all took a step back. Kevin's key card was deactivated 2 years ago when he dropped out the last time. Using it now constitutes unauthorized entry. Add that to the destruction of university property and attempted sabotage of granted research. You're bluffing, Kevin sneered, but I could see uncertainty creeping into his expression. I held up my phone, still recording. Try me. Mom's face contorted with rage. She grabbed the nearest speaker and hurled it against the wall. You ungrateful brat. After everything we've done for you. Everything you've done for me? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. You mean like when you spent my college fund on Kevin's first failed attempt at school? Or when you missed my undergraduate graduation because Kevin needed bail money? Or maybe you mean now, when you're literally destroying my career to give him another chance he hasn't earned. I earned this, Kevin shouted, finally losing his cool. I deserve a chance. You've had chances, I replied. 3 of them, in fact. Each time, you chose partying over studying, drinking over learning. The Newman Grant isn't a chance, Kevin. It's a reward for work already done, research already proven valuable. You can't deserve something you haven't worked for. The lab door burst open, and campus security rushed in, followed by Dr. Harrison, the head of my department. I texted him the moment I saw them in my lab. What in God's name? Dr. Harrison surveyed the destruction, his face darkening with each detail he took in. These people are trespassing, I said professionally, as if I wasn't watching my world being dismantled by my own family. They've destroyed university property and attempted to sabotage granted research. I have it all on video, and I'd like to press charges. Sarah, please, Mom's voice shifted instantly to pleading. We can work this out as a family. Security, Dr. Harrison's voice was cold. Please escort these individuals to your office. The board will want to review this incident immediately. As they were led away, my mother still pleading, my father glaring, and Kevin looking shell-shocked, Dr. Harrison turned to me with concern. Are you all right, Dr. Mitchell? I looked around at my destroyed lab, years of work scattered across the floor. But strangely, I felt lighter than I had in years. No, I replied honestly. But I will be. What I didn't know then was that the university board meeting scheduled for the next morning would change everything. Not just for me, but for the entire way the university handled research security. My family had finally pushed me too far, and their actions would have consequences none of us could have predicted. The university board meeting room felt impossibly large as I sat facing 12 stern-faced administrators. The security footage played on the large screen behind me, showing my family's rampage in crystal clear detail. My mother's shrieks, my father's intimidating stance, Kevin's smug indifference, all preserved in high definition. Dr. Mitchell, Dean Anderson spoke first, her voice sharp with concern. Can you explain why your family had access to a secure research facility? Kevin, my brother, kept his old key card from when he was a student here. I replied, maintaining my professional composure. I wasn't aware he still had it. It should have been deactivated. It was, Dr. Harrison interjected, checking his tablet. They somehow reactivated it. We're investigating that breach separately. I wasn't surprised. Kevin had always been good at manipulating systems, just never at actually doing the work required to succeed within them. The footage reached the point where my mother threw the beaker. Several board members flinched at the crash. Dean Anderson paused the video. The damage assessment came in this morning, she announced. Initial estimates suggest over $300,000 in destroyed equipment and materials, not counting the potential setback to your research timeline. My stomach churned. I knew it was bad, but hearing the number made it real. $300,000 of university property destroyed because my brother wanted what I had earned. Fortunately, I said, pulling out my laptop, I maintain redundant off-site backups of all my research data, and I've documented every step of my work with multiple fail-safes. The physical damage is severe, but my actual research is secure. Dr. Harrison smiled slightly. He'd always appreciated my meticulous nature. That's commendable. Dean Anderson nodded. But it doesn't address the larger issue. Your family's actions have exposed serious security vulnerabilities in our research facilities, and their apparent belief that a prestigious grant could simply be redistributed is deeply concerning. I understand, I replied, and I fully support any legal action the university deems necessary. My family needs to face consequences for their actions. The room fell silent. I realized they'd expected me to defend my family, to ask for leniency. That's what the old Sarah would have done. Made excuses, smoothed things over, kept the peace at her own expense. But I wasn't that Sarah anymore. Dr. Mitchell, a board member I recognized as Dr. Chen, spoke up. Your response to this situation has been remarkably composed. Many would have been too emotional to think clearly. I almost laughed. With all due respect, sir, I've had years of practice handling my family's disruptions. The only difference this time is that I chose not to protect them from the consequences. Tell us about these previous disruptions. Dean Anderson leaned forward, suddenly intent. So I did. I told them about the college fund they'd taken, the graduations they'd missed, the constant pressure to give up my achievements for Kevin's benefit. I showed them emails, text messages, documented patterns of behavior that had led to this moment. This isn't just about last night, I concluded. This is about a systematic attempt to undermine my work to benefit someone who hasn't earned it. I love my family, but I won't sacrifice my research or my career for them anymore. The board members exchanged glances. Dr. Harrison cleared his throat. We've reviewed your research progress, Dr. Mitchell. Your work on neural regeneration is groundbreaking. The Newman grant was well-deserved, and we can't allow anyone to jeopardize it. Dean Anderson nodded. We've made some decisions. First, the university will be pressing charges for criminal damage and unauthorized entry. Second, we're upgrading security across all research facilities. Your incident made it clear our current measures are insufficient. She paused, shuffling some papers. And third, we're doubling your grant funding. I blinked. I'm sorry, what? Your backup protocols saved millions in research data. Your professional handling of this crisis showed exceptional judgment. The board feels you've more than proven your worth to this institution. I sat there stunned. They weren't just supporting me, they were investing more in my work. There will be a press release this afternoon, Dr. Harrison added. The university wants to make it clear where we stand on protecting our researchers and their work. As I left the boardroom, my phone buzzed with a message from my mother. The police are here. How could you do this to your own family? I didn't respond. Instead, I walked to my lab, where a cleanup crew was already at work. Looking at the destruction in daylight, I felt no regret for my decisions. My family had finally pushed me too far, and now they would learn that actions have consequences. What I didn't know then was that the press release would catch the attention of someone who would change everything. Someone who had been watching my research with great interest and who had their own score to settle with my brother Kevin. The press release hit like a tsunami. By evening, my inbox was flooded with messages from colleagues, other universities, and research foundations. But one email stood out, from Dr. Elena Martinez, head of the Global Neuroscience Institute. Dr. Mitchell, it read, "Your research interests me, but your integrity interests me more. I had a similar experience with your brother Kevin 3 years ago when he attempted to take credit for one of our junior researchers' work. Let's talk." I sat back in my temporary office, pieces clicking into place. Kevin's last attempt at graduate school hadn't just ended in dropout. He'd been caught in academic dishonesty. Now I knew where. Before I could respond, my phone rang. It was my grandmother, my father's mother, and the only family member who'd ever truly supported my academic pursuits. "I saw the news," she said without preamble. "Your mother's been calling everyone, playing victim. But I saw the security footage, Sarah. It's time you knew something about your inheritance." My heart stopped. "Ron, your grandfather didn't leave everything to your father," she continued. "He left a separate trust for his grandchildren's education. Your father was supposed to tell you when you started college, but he used Kevin's half for his business ventures and kept yours hidden from you." The implications hit me like a physical blow. All those student loans I'd taken out, all those extra jobs I'd worked. There had been money for my education all along. "I contacted the trust lawyers," Gran said, her voice hard. "They'll be reaching out to you. It's not just about the money, Sarah. It's about the fraud." After hanging up, I responded to Dr. Martinez's email. Within an hour, we were on a video call. "Your neural regeneration research aligns perfectly with our latest project," she said, getting straight to business. "We'd like to offer you a collaboration, full funding, state-of-the-art facilities, and complete protection of your intellectual property." "Protection?" I asked. She smiled grimly. "We've dealt with Kevin Mitchell before. We know the precautions necessary when family members feel entitled to others' success." The offer was incredible, everything I'd dreamed of and more. But it would mean leaving the university, starting fresh. As if reading my mind, Dr. Martinez added, "Your current university would remain a partner institution. Dr. Harrison speaks highly of you, and we value strong academic relationships." Later that day, as I was processing everything, security called. My parents were trying to enter the building again. "Your father's demanding to speak with you," the guard said. "Something about family business." "Let me guess," I replied. "He's wearing a suit and talking about lawyers." "Yes, actually." I smiled. "That means Gran's lawyers have contacted him about the trust. Tell him all communication needs to go through legal channels now." "You got it, Dr. Mitchell." That evening, I sat in my new temporary lab, surrounded by boxes of salvaged equipment, when Dr. Harrison stopped by. "The Global Neuroscience Institute," he said, leaning against the doorframe. "Impressive. You knew they'd reach out." He nodded. "Elena Martinez is an old colleague. When this happened, I sent her your file. Your family may have tried to hold you back, Sarah, but they've inadvertently launched you forward." 3 months later, I stood in my new lab at the Institute. The space was 3 times the size of my university lab, with equipment I'd only dreamed of using. My team, yes, I had a team now, was settling in well. The trust lawyers had recovered my inheritance with interest. Kevin's academic fraud had been fully exposed, closing the door on any future attempts to piggyback on others' work. My parents faced criminal charges and civil lawsuits from both the university and the trust administrators. My phone buzzed with a text from Gran. "Saw your new research paper. Proud of you, sweetheart. Your grandfather would have been too." Dr. Martinez poked her head in. "Ready for the board presentation." I looked around at my lab, at the work I protected and grown despite everything. More than ready. As I followed her to the conference room, I thought about that night 3 months ago, watching my mother destroy my lab. They thought they were teaching me a lesson about family obligations. Instead, they taught me something far more valuable, that sometimes the best thing family can do for you is show you exactly who they are, so you can finally stop making excuses for them. My research was thriving, my career soaring, and for the first time in my life, I was completely free of the weight of my family's expectations. Sometimes I realize what looks like destruction is really just clearing the way for something better to grow. Dr. Mitchell, the board chairman, greeted me. "We're excited to hear about your progress." I smiled, opening my presentation. "Thank you. Let me show you what we discovered." The destruction of my old lab had been an ending, but this was just the beginning.